So in this video we're going to talk you through removing the wheel and changing an inner tube on a bike with V-brakes and gears. You want to drop it down into the smallest sprocket at the back just by clicking the lever on the handlebar. So the next part is disconnecting the V-brake. This a little bit fiddly, but basically you need to pull the noodle past its widest point so that it releases off the cable. You're now ready to remove the wheel from the bike using the 15mm spanner. You'll note the wheel falls out easily because it's aligned with the rear sprocket. You want to pull the chain down with your finger and the wheel will just come straight out the bike. Now, get your two tyre levers, flick them both down together. Locate one tyre lever over the spoke so it doesn't flip out. Make sure you cover it with your hand and then slide. The tube out. Remove the tyre from the rim. You want to thoroughly inspect the tyre from the inside and the out. Make sure there are no foreign objects such as pieces of glass and thorns, bits of wire, nails, screws, you name it. We found it. As a secondary check, need to make sure that the protective tape that covers the head of the spokes, the rim tape, is in place and intact and not twisted up. So having checked the tyre and the inner tube and everything's okay, you can then start to refit the tyre to the rim. You only want to put one side on to begin with. Next you take your inner tube. You'll notice when it comes out of the packet it has been vacuumed, so there's no air in it at all. What we're going to do is take a bike pump and just put a small amount of air in it to give it some shape, and this will help when installing it back into the tyre. Start the valve, pop it through, pulling the tyre over. There's enough room to just flick it in and pull the tyre back over. Now what you'll notice, because it's got a bit of a shape to it, it should go straight into the tyre with no kinks, no twists. And want to seat it into the inside of the well. We're not trying to put the second side of the tyre back on yet. Once it's in to the well, then you want to start easing the tyre back on with your hands. When you get to the last bit, it's going to be a little bit tight. There are a couple of techniques you can use to help push the tyre over. I find that if you roll it with your hand and push with your thumb, it just pops straight on. Now we're going to refit the wheel to the bike, so you want to line up the chain in the correct position and onto the small sprocket, and that way it should all line back up neatly and the wheel should just pop straight back in. When tightening up the wheel nuts, you nip one side just so it pinches. You go back to the other side. You'll notice I'm using my knee to push the wheel up to make sure it's straight into the bike. You can do this again when the bike is on the ground if you don't have a bike stand. You go back to the other side and fully tension the wheel nut. Next, we're just going to put a small amount of air in, just to make sure that the tyre is seated correctly and that the tyre's not trying to come off anywhere. 30 psi should suffice, and you want to do a quick visual check, make sure that the tyre is on straight, isn't going up and down. You check both sides, and then you can go up to full pressure. And pressure varies from tyre to tyre, so make sure you check what your tyre says. It will then be embossed onto the side of the tyre. You usually have a range on this particular tyre between 50 and 85 psi. So I'm going to take it up to 70. The final stage to reconnect your brake, just locating the noodle back into the caliper. And then final check, make sure the wheel spins round, the brakes aren't rubbing. You should be good to go.